Coming up on today's San Francisco 49ers Report, we are taking your questions and your hot takes right here on the show. This is what happens when you're a real one and you subscribe to the channel. We chop it up with all of you because we're the most interactive and engaging Niners channel right here on YouTube, and we appreciate all of our viewers, our fans, and our supporters. That includes Alexander Ryan, who gets us started. Thoughts on the 49ers missing out on Rees. Damn it, as a rugby fan, would have loved for him to come to the Niners. He signed with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I like what the Chiefs do. They take chances on players. Andy Reid has always done this throughout his career, whether it's a prospect or it's somebody with some legal issues. He just did it with Matt Araiza, the punter, and they let Tommy Townsend, who's a really good punter, go, and he got paid by the Houston Texans, and now they're bringing in a former rugby player. Philadelphia Eagles did this a couple of years ago with Jordan Mailata, and this past year, third highest graded tackle in all of football. But yeah, wasn't for the Niners there, Alexander. Glad you brought that up, though. It's a fun talking point. Romeo, shout out to the Niner fan. How do we culturally rebound from that Super Bowl loss? I think a lot of people don't talk about this enough. The human nature element of getting your heart broken. Sometimes it takes people a long time to get over a relationship if you get dumped or you call for the breakup or the divorce with your significant other, right? Imagine working so hard, putting your body through all of that, going through the mental and physical rigors of a football season, and you are this close to the Super Bowl. And not only do you lose in overtime to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, who you lost to before. And you know you lost that game when you were the better team, in my opinion, and you shot yourselves in the foot on numerous occasions. Everybody can bring up the officiating all you want. Christian McCaffrey can't fumble. Jake Moody can't miss that PAT. You can't fumble the punt. You have to capitalize and at least get 3 off the Patrick Mahomes interception. Multiple penalties. The Niners cost themselves that game, which makes it more difficult to get over something like that. How do you rebound? You look at the roster and you say, the window is starting to close. We have a very elite team, really good coach. We've been so successful as an organization. We know what it takes to be here. We won a couple of heroic clutch performance games against the Packers and the Lions to get to the Super Bowl. We didn't play our best football. And as players get older, as the window starts to close, the pressure gets ratcheted up a little bit. But you look across the team and you say, we're still maybe the most talented team in football. Let's recover the body, recover the mind. This is the business. This is what we signed up for. This is the reality of football. You can't win every single year. And let's complete the quest for 6 together. 49ers zone. What do you think we should target in the first round? I'm always a best player available type of person. So if a really good player falls to the Niners, I think you go with the best player available there. And that could be a Kool-Aid McKinstry. It could be a Nate Wiggins. It could be a Cooper DeJean. Whoever falls to them. It could be a Braden Fisk, defensive tackle out of Florida State. It could be one of the offensive linemen. You could trade up to get a player who you really want because that gets dictated by some of the quarterbacks that go in the top 5, top 10. Thus, other players slide, and you have to trade up from 31 to 22 to get your guy. You got to do it. So, obviously, offensive line is the biggest need for this team. Cornerback is the number 2 biggest need. Defensive tackle to me is number 3. Of course, as part of the offensive line, right tackle, guard, center. I'd like to see them address all those positions with some really good young talent. Jacob Martin, how much will a Marshon Lattimore contract be? We actually have some contract details on Marshon Lattimore if we're able to pull that up. If not, no big deal at all. No guaranteed money after 2024. For the Saints, if they traded him pre-June 1, $31.3 million in dead money, $16.7 in cap savings. They trade him post-June 1, $10.5 in dead money, $3.9 in cap savings. But again, no guaranteed money after 2024. As for what he would cost this year alone, let me just take a look at that really quickly. He did get a big contract from New Orleans. He's one of the highest paid corners in the game. He has a cap hit of $14.6 million. Faithful shirts still on sale. How do you get them? You use that link down below. chatsports.com/49ersfaithful. Somebody watched the show and said, Chase, that promo code doesn't work. I can't believe you're doing this. It's not a promo code. It's a link. chatsports.com/49ersfaithful. And as I always say, that link for that great deal, this awesome Niners gear, is available in the show notes right below this video, the written portion, as well as in the comment section attached to the pinned comment. Mehul Patel, how much will a Patrick Surtain contract be? Well, L'Jarius Sneed just got $19 million per year on that sign-in trade from Kansas City to the Tennessee Titans, and Patrick Surtain is the better player. So I think the starting point going to be $20 million per year for a guy who's already been a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro in this league. Foxy Steady. If the Niners don't address offensive line, they don't have a chance of winning a Super Bowl. I agree. Have to address the offensive line. And you look at the offensive line depth chart here, I'm fine with the left side. Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, you're in a good spot there. But for Kyle Shanahan to say this past week that Colton McKivitz has, quote, done a hell of a job at right tackle for us. We have a lot of confidence in him going into this year. He's the exact type of guy that we want. I thought he did a hell of a job playing this year. That's ridiculous. That can't be the standard. Colton McKivitz gave up 47 total pressures and 9 sacks this year. He gave up 12 pressures in 3 playoff games. He was the 47th highest graded tackle in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch need to see that clip from Jim Harbaugh where he talked about how the whole team is based upon the offensive line and the success of it. Mr. Black Ice, do you think as far as the draft, our main focuses are the lines on both sides, then probably corner? Yeah, the biggest needs for me, offensive tackle, because I think offensive tackle, defensive end, and quarterback, those are the 3 most important positions. Obviously, quarterback's number 1. And then you can argue offensive tackle and edge rusher. You want to be able to protect your quarterback and then get after the opposing quarterback. So offensive tackle number 1, offensive guard number 2. I honestly might say center number 3 and then cornerback right after that, or corner instead of center. I just don't think Jake Brendel is fantastic. I think you can do better than a guy who's making $5 million per year. Romeo, is it time to adjust our offensive scheme? Hasn't produced in the Super Bowl that we deserved in the last 3 years. It's not altering the offensive scheme. The Niners had the number 1 overall offense in the NFL this past year, and they averaged nearly 30 points per game. It's an explosive offense. It's a physical offense. It works. There's a reason why Kyle Shanahan's offense has been replicated by so many other coaches across the NFL, from Sean McVay to Matt LaFleur to Bobby Slowick to Zach Robinson now with the Atlanta Falcons, who's their new OC under Raheem Morris. The Kyle Shanahan offense is what everybody pretty much wants at the NFL level. But I don't like the offensive line protections at times, and that's something that JT O'Sullivan has talked about. And if there's something that you change there, it's the offensive line protections. Nick Dolfer, what is the chance that we get Justin Simmons? The Niners have shown interest in him. The Niners have shown interest in safeties in free agency. Justin Simmons, Julian Blackmon. Do you go Quandre Diggs? Do you go Eddie Jackson, who's an older player and was a first-team All-Pro in 2018 and a Vic Fangio type of player, and Brandon Staley is a Vic Fangio guy, Vic Fangio disciple? I'd say it's somewhat low, but man, if he wants to take less money because he made a lot of money last year and in years before that on that contract extension, he improves your defense mightily. Make sure you subscribe to the show to be a part of our future mailbags. Hit that bell icon, turn on those notifications. Therefore, when we go live, when we push out a video, you'll be notified and you can come hang out here with us.